China is the biggest imperialist nation in the 21st century. You're an American and you just said that? What the fuck are you talking about? That is so crazy. Everyone is going through their own 1920s to 1930s evolution towards fascism right now, with one very important distinction. We do not have an FDR, and there is no anti-fascist counterforce on the planet, okay? There is no socialist, ideologically minded, socialist, revolutionary country that will become the other global superpower. Before you say Xi Jinping, as much as I glaze China for high-speed rail and, like, you know, killing billionaires that poison children or whatever, if you think China is an ideological counterweight to growing capitalism and growing fascism on the planet, you are delusional, okay? They are not. They only care about China, okay? China only cares about China. And sometimes China only cares about China to a degree where, like, you can literally have Maoist or socialist groups that China doesn't even help, okay? The USSR, for all of its faults and failures, even though they were obviously personally invested in, whatever their project was, they still absolutely were either A, forced into this dynamic, or B, genuinely helped their ideological allies in their own personal anti-colonial endeavors. China does not do that. If they did do that, it would be literally beneficial for them to do so in the Philippines. Okay? There are active Maoist rebel groups in the Philippines. Okay? It's just waiting. It's right there. They constantly are fucking having issues in their own backyard. Okay? They're, hitting their fucking Coast Guard boats on the Filipino boats, and they're spraying them with water. Okay? If they wanted to cause instability or even engage in some kind of intervention in the Philippines, they're right there. You could just do that. America does it all the time. You could literally do that. You could just use the Maoist groups there and fund them and cause them to overtake the Filipino government. Obviously, it wouldn't be that easy because America has too much vested interest in the Philippines. It's yet another unsinkable aircraft carrier for them. But, like, you could at least cause some level of instability and leverage the ideological allies that you have in the Philippines. China doesn't even do that. They don't do that at all, because China just wants to sell product. Okay. At the end of the day, they don't want to fuck up the bag. They don't want to rock the boat. They just want to do their own thing, and they want to keep pumping they want to keep pumping out product, and they are looking for new markets to sell product to. And they've realized that the Western world is tapped out. So they have to develop Africa so they can find a new market that they can pump their product to. That's it. They stay grinding. That's it. They just want to get their money up and not their funny up. They do not have a committed ideological project in, letting socialism thrive or anything like that. Now, things might change. Who knows? They might be forced into taking global action inevitably. But the reality is, from where China is standing, at least looking at their actions, who knows, forced to take over Vietnam and Taiwan. Oops. As far as I understand, in terms of Vietnam, there are more trade relationships between Vietnam and China than ever before, and that the way that the Vietnamese Chinese relationship works is no longer as hostile as it once was, for obvious fucking reasons. Bro, China is just patient right now. Like, what do you want us to do? Give the U.S. a perfect excuse to start World War III with us? No, I just don't think that China is even remotely interested in fucking up the bag. That's all I'm saying. Vietnam and America are close. Oh, so is China. China is very close with a lot of countries. A lot of countries that have been fucked over by the West, and even some countries that have been funded and pumped by the West. I'm simply stating that the USSR offered two ideological allies. The USSR offered financial support, okay, or they also offered like logistical support. China doesn't even do that in places where they can at least like cause a little bit of instability in an effort for self-preservation. Does that make sense? It's already over. The new Cold War is happening. The U.S. realizes that China is outpacing the U.S. on strategic technology and just raw industrial power. Harris is all in on confronting China and trying to stop their economic growth. I know. And considering the past, 30, 40, 50 years of like Western dominance and what that meant for developing nations, there are a lot of people who have been fucked over by our side of the world, our sphere of influence. So they are incredibly happy about creating a new allegiance with another nation that is also an industrial powerhouse, if not a larger one than the United States of America is. China is the biggest imperialist nation in the 21st century. Wait, what? China is the biggest imperialist nation in the 21st century? You're an American and you just said that? What the fuck are you talking about? Dude, the example... This isn't even a defense of China. This is just a defense of the truth. Like, I don't know what the fuck you're saying. Dude, first of all, nobody comes near the United States of America. Okay? Nobody. You are the most delusional person on the planet if you think that that is even a comparison. This does not make other countries' imperial ambitions appropriate. Okay? But you are out of your fucking mind if you think that that is the case. An example I regularly use is, for example, everybody constantly being like, the Chinese Coast Guard is actually harming the Filipino boats. Okay? They're spraying them with water. They're ramming into them, and it's really disruptive. Okay, America is doing a genocide in fucking Palestine right now. Like right now. Okay? Or if you want to think of like an adversary of America, because your brain only works in this direction, okay, in one direction, look at what Russia's doing in Ukraine. Do you think these are even remotely comparable? We got 800 fucking military bases that we know of all around the planet, and you're like, man, the most imperialist nation of the 21st century is fucking China. That's crazy. Yeah, they got back Hong Kong from the UK. Jesus Christ. Bro, they're hosing those boats with water. They'll rust. I know. Chatter is fucking due for a lobotomy. America was a unipolar hegemonic force in the 21st fucking century. Reddit as take. Holy shit, G, please nuke Reddit. Yeah, see, he won't do that. Okay, because he doesn't want to fuck up the bag, dog. That's what I'm saying. Russia, for all of its fucking awful and outright fascist invocations of empire, okay, with much less money, is doing everything in its fucking power to like to make territorial gains, and which is incredibly fucking costly, okay, incredibly costly in terms of lives. I'm saying, like, it's brutal, it's barbaric, it is completely unacceptable, but they do a shit ton more in trying to, at the very least, combat American hegemony, and they're at their own, for their own personal gain, mind you. Is Russia more imperialist than America? Oh my God, bro. Oh my God. America is doing a Ukraine, or has done a Ukraine for the past 20 years. The only difference is you don't have the capacity to analyze it in the same fucking vein. That's it. This is why whenever I criticize Russia for being like America, so many Americans would be like, what the fuck? Why are you defending Russia? It's like, no, I'm saying they're the big bad. Okay? America's the big bad, and what Russia is doing is akin to America, which is the worst thing you can be considered from where I'm standing. After Saigon fell in 1975, China invaded Vietnam only 4 years later. There's a long history of mistrust between the countries in China's periphery and China. The two biggest heroes in Vietnamese lore after Ho Chi Minh are famous because of them protecting Vietnam from Chinese incursion. Quang Trong was famous because of his victory over the Qing dynasty, and Tran Hung Dao because of his victory over the Yuan. How likely is the U.S. to do a genocide domestically? Well, that comes back to the conversation that we were just having about Donald Trump being Hitlerian. Can't believe every conversation has to go back to China somehow, because Americans cannot just like analyze our own problems with, by being compared to an even bigger bad historically, without immediately being like, well, what about our foreign adversaries? They're doing some fuck shit too. And then me being the stubborn, annoying, autistic asshole that I am, have to immediately correct people for having the wrong opinion and not having any of the fucking knowledge on historical facts. Yeah, the U.S. already finished their genocide once. I'm saying that they're going to do another domestic one seemingly soon. And I don't know if it's going to be the Democratic Party that conducts it or the Republican one. You know what I mean? It's going to happen, though. Yeah, let's just ignore the Uyghur genocide. Brother, you're doing it. You're doing the thing that I'm saying. Okay? There's never been a moment where I'm like, that's like the Chinese government did not engage in cultural genocide and also fucking mass concentration camps or mass re-education camps for the Uyghur population in Xinjiang. Okay, I never said that. Please shut the fuck up. Okay, Jesus Christ, you're doing but China again. This is not about China versus America. This is about what America is doing. The only reason why you do that is because you feel bad. You feel bad. There's a little Western chauvinist dog in you that's barking every time I talk about this. Literally, one guy says this, you got Adrian Zenz. No, I didn't get Adrian Zenz. Come on, dog. Like, dude. There's an understandable reason to be like risk averse and not want an active hot or cold war with China. Okay, that is the correct position. And then there's being a MAGA guy, but for Xi Jinping. A lot of leftists go between the two, like in almost a second. Okay, there is no reason for you to be a MAGA supporter, but for Xi. All right, like the irony of that sentiment expressed is that he literally said he's doing this tailored off of America's war on terror. Okay, you cannot point to separatist movements. You cannot point to separatist movements as a reason to do mass surveillance and wholesale dragnet operations on every single person that you claim is trying to separate Xinjiang from China. Okay, you cannot point to knife attacks, acts of terror conducted by Muslim Uyghurs to say we have to do mass surveillance in an entire region and just like forcibly try and Hanify or pacify the entire fucking area. Okay, the United States of America did similar things as well. It was completely unacceptable. It is ridiculous to try and defend this position. What you can say, however, is that this is no longer a thing that is occurring. How do you explain the fact that every single country has Chinese shops in every single corner? I don't know, because the food is good. Like what? There's a lot of people, man. There's a lot of Chinese people, okay? And the food is bomb. Like it's yummy. There's just a lot of Chinese people, dude. There's a lot of Indian people too. There's a lot of Indian restaurants too. Like what the fuck do you mean? Like who the fuck looks at a Chinese restaurant and goes, this is imperialism happening? You have to be a real brain broken idiot to fucking have this attitude, dude. How do we stop the Uyghur camps though? They are no longer in operation, at least according to the Associated Press. So unless the Associated Press is in the pocket of big China, which I doubt they are, considering our own personal vested interest in like undermining China at every step at the behest of the U.S. State Department, it doesn't exist any longer. That's probably the reason why there's so many fucking TikTokers that suspiciously go to Xinjiang and you know TikTok in Xinjiang about how sick it is over there. God damn, dude. Holy shit.